Hello and welcome to my Pollen Talk today.
Welcome to my Pollen Talk.
Welcome to my Pollen Talk.
And first of all, I would like you to imagine you on a sunny day on the slopes of one of the ski resorts in Austria. What a nice feeling. And don't worry, nobody wants to take that away from you. Nevertheless, I would like to take the chance today to talk about banning off-slope skiing in European resorts. So let's dive deeper into the issue of chasing thrills while protecting hills. Let's start with some basic facts. As you can see, there is quite a substantial amount of ski areas in Europe, with a majority of them located in Germany, Italy, France, and Austria. Overall, there are more than 2,000 ski resorts worldwide, of which 36% alone are placed in the European Alps. The European Alps feature about 15,808 ski lifts, while providing slopes of about 30,600 kilometers. Unfortunately, these numbers are from 2004, and there was no more current report by the European Union on these numbers, but of course it would be interesting to see how these numbers changed over the last 20 years. The skiing industry is often a main contributor to the economy in mountainous regions, as ski areas provide substantial economic benefits while also leading to the improvement of services and infrastructure in these regions. However, ski resorts also play a crucial role as an impact factor and can cause severe damages on alpine ecosystems. Ski resorts are often placed in fragile ecosystems such as boreal or alpine ecosystems, where wildlife and vegetation already have to cope with harsh environmental conditions. The soils and the vegetation in alpine ecosystem develops very slowly. The soil, for instance, develops over decades or even centuries due to the low temperatures and the short growing season in these areas. Therefore, perturbations and disturbances in alpine habitats are very likely to cause severe damages that can be visible for a very long time. So we can see skiing is quite detrimental to the environment, and we can actually see an increase in skiing intensity over the last decades, which obviously also means that the snow preparation techniques have to be adapted to the growing demands of these growing number of skiers. So we have the issue of skiing being very detrimental to the environment, but obviously it would not be feasible to just ban skiing overall, as the economic impact of this would be enormous and we would lose an important recreational activity. Let's dive a bit deeper into the issues that skiing can cause. So first of all, the compaction of snow leads to a decreased insulation of the ground below the snow, which means that the temperatures below the snow drop, which is very hard to cope with for vegetation. Additionally, changes in snow cover by activities such as grooming and skiing affect vegetation. And as I already said, perturbations and disturbances in alpine habitats cause damages to the soils and vegetation. But it's not only difficult to cope with for vegetation, but also for animal species and wildlife, as it has been found that only minor disturbances, such as off-piste activities, can lead to a chronic stress response in the black grouse, which is a common bird in the European Alps. Therefore, the initiative Respektiere deine Grenzen, or Respect Your Borders, to be honest, the German name is a lot nicer, it has a nice wordplay in it, was launched with the intention to create a systematic and comprehensive protection for sensitive habitats in Carinthia in Austria. And based on this initiative, I would like to suggest a new EU directive that prohibits all off-slope skiing in European ski resorts. Accordingly, skiing would only be allowed on the slopes. Leaving the slopes to ski under the ski lifts or next to the slopes, however, would be prohibited. So fortunately, there is hope to keep skiing while making skiing more biodiverse and more sustainable. Transforming the spaces next to the slopes into so-called safety areas, which are restoration plots that offer particularly advantageous conditions for plant growth and plant establishment, can already provide major benefits. It has been found that a vegetation cover of only 60% in these areas, while increasing the plant diversity, can significantly reduce surface erosion. Additionally, the creation of wildlife refuges, which aim to limit human access to these habitats of these vulnerable species, has proven to be a very effective tool to limit and mitigate the impacts of human disturbances. Studies have also found that these safety areas are usually habituated by a lot more species, vegetation and wildlife species, than non-restored areas. So, in order to achieve a more sustainable future of skiing, my key recommendations would be to prohibit all off-slope skiing in skiing resorts in Europe to limit human disturbances. Obviously, this means that the slopes have to be clearly marked and the wildlife areas have to be clearly identifiable as such, which is why we propose to implement that by 2027, that the ski resorts have time to adapt to these new changes. Second, in order to increase awareness and acceptance in society, we suggest to educate society on the positive impacts and benefits this can provide. This can be done by using traditional media such as posters or flyers, but also target group specific measurements could be taken, such as panel discussions where the issue is clearly explained and the benefits are visible for society. And lastly, once these safety areas have been introduced, the areas vegetation can be reintroduced. And of course, for that, it's very important to use a mixture of seeds which are site-specific and regional to not disturb these sensitive alpine ecosystems. So let's work together to create a more sustainable and biodiverse future of skiing in Europe. Thank you.